ready to fight and be ready to kill.
You cannot stop me, I'ma make it to the top spicy. Call a covenant, not cocky, you cannot break me. This world's mine for the taking. Got an itch, man, I'm making. I'll keep my head down and grind and be patient. I'll take a stab at the top and the sailing. They can all try, but you cannot contain it. Cause I see the things that I want and I take on my goal. Push myself to the brink, no limit.
Okay. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. And yes, you can pick your G2 Power alternator up at g2daudio.com. Use the link in my bio to save that money. But we got to put this on here today. So, yeah, that's where I'm starting at. And I really need to build myself a new under the hood battery box. You'll see why. But, man, that's a good looking alternator. And I told you before, I'm not going with the cheap alternators anymore. The budget brands went for something more expensive because I expect and want more quality. But yeah, all right, let's get into this video and try to get this thing, yeah, that thing there, down there where it belongs. There it goes. Yeah, down there where that one's at. Yeah, down there. Yeah, way down there. And this is why I need to build a new battery box. This thing has definitely seen some better parts of life. It's the first one I ever built. I did it with aluminum strip, like a little aluminum bar. Fairly thick. But it could be better. You know, that was just, yeah, I don't even know. Like I said, it was the first one I ever built. And it's worked great for years, but it looks like I only used 1/2 inch wood. No clue why. It's held up. I've actually taken it apart and shortened it one time because it was like 1 inch taller. The next one I build is only going to be like half this high, which will be a lot better for me. But yeah, it means I'm probably going to have to definitely lengthen that. But it's all good, guys. But anyway, yeah, let's get into this video, shall we? I got to start taking, yeah. What the? That's not right. Things you find when you pop the hood. Yep, things you find when you pop the old hood. There we go, good as new. We're just gonna pretend we didn't see that, okay? All right, let's get into it. Yeah. There's that old battery box. Look at just the poor condition of it. I mean, it's pretty rickety. Like, I'm straight up just gonna say, if it was a habitable structure, it would be condemned. I only want to go about yay tall in there. Probably about 4 inches tall. There's my stock battery holder. They do make an alternator bracket that fits like right here, where I could do a third alternator or put air conditioning back on here and, you know, live the good life. No clue yet. I mean, I know for now, we're going to stick with this bad boy here. We're going to put my new alternator down there. I just got to get that one out. Which we're doing good this morning because you literally have to pull the air box out, which is right here. You got to take some bolts loose on the back of the power steering pump, down there on the front, adjust it, because that's the belt tensioner, which I love this style way better than a spring-loaded tensioner. Yeah, this is just a whole lot better. It's different on the newer Cherokee up to 2000 like that one. They got a little different setup, but they're still power steering pump adjusted. Did I forget to mention? Get off of there. Ooh, look at that. You can get one of them bad boys for $5. I will ship it to you. For $5, I will put that in an envelope and mail it to you. I know I got a stack of them to send out Monday. I do. I have a stack going out Monday. Not even bull crapping. Just cash at me $5. $, capital J, Jerry, capital A, ain't loud. Leave your address in the comment and we will get it shipped out to you. But yeah, tomorrow I got a whole stack of them mailing out. And my buddy Chubbs, he sent me some keychains. Thank you, Chubbs. I appreciated that. I just got them in the mail yesterday, which was nice. But guys, I'm gonna take a quick break and get back to work from underneath here. Where the hell is that? There's the alternator. You see, I got like a bolt here, a bolt there, a nut there, 2 nuts up there. That all has to be done from the bottom. Oh, and then the wires on the back. Yeah, I already got all them off, but...
And then it comes out the top.
Then, yeah, I found a way to twist the alternator and actually get it out through the top without pulling the clutch fan off. But it's a pain in the butt under here, and everything under here is so leaky. Like, it's greasy, like bad. We're just going to pretend we didn't see that. And we're just going to get back. Pretty one right here. And we got the old one out. And you can see down there where I had to grind on them brackets to fit that big ass alternator in there. Which it's way bigger than this one, but not quite as big as that one. But God, this one here looks so much better than that one.
Matches better.
But we're getting ready to get this bad boy down in there where it won't really ever be seen. But I still like the fact that it's pretty. Because if people do like get over there and like peek between the hose and everything, they will see it. But all right, we're gonna try to get it in. Making a new battery box isn't really rocket science. Yeah, I just kind of measured that one and went way shorter. Just cut 4 boards, and you know, you screw them down, and voila, new battery box. And I got these that will go on there. And I would say these are nice, but honestly, you know, I'm not impressed with their stuff. Threads are really like draggy. And I have these on the Weiss Blazer, and this coating they put on the aluminum, after a year, it just starts like bubbling up. But hey, I'm going to try it because those will look nicer than this. Maybe, I don't know. And if I have room, I'm going to try to put fuse holders up here. Yeah, if I have room. I don't know. If I have room. But I got to have fuses up there. But we're going to figure it out, guys. All right. So we got the battery box done. Man, we can, if you're so inclined, if you're so inclined, you can put your little lids on there, you know. I mean, will I? Hell if I know. I did actually drill through these lugs and put a bolt in here in case they tried to turn at some point in their life. They wouldn't. Got it, you know, the old lock washer, and everything on there. And I know everybody's like, get birch lumber. Now, I've never had that 5x5 sheet of the high dollar 13 ply Russian birch. But I've got some of that cheap like Lowe's birch, and screws and everything just sink in it easy. And this old maple, yeah, you got to drill pilot holes in this stuff. It's really good. So I definitely would prefer using maple over the birch. But that's just me, you know. I mean, the enclosure in that thing last time was built out of pine. So, but I'm talking for like this battery box all day long. I prefer the good old maple. Will she fit? Oh, guys, I don't know. I don't even have my battery tray in there yet, but I got that alternator on. Look at that bad boy. Ooh-wee! She looking pretty sharp, guys. I know that battery box there weighs way more than the other one, but thicker wood, better ingredients. Kind of like a Papa John's pizza, I guess, even though I'm not a fan of Papa John's. I mean, don't hold that against me if you're a Papa John's fan. It's just, it's not my cup of tea, guys, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna have to drill the majority of these ends out, because, you know, everybody in the world, factory, you know, a lot of the factory stuff on here, it all fit a 5/16, and this company decides to use, you know, basically a 3/8. So yeah, everything's got to get drilled out, because everybody else in the world, you know, usually gets 5/16 lugs. So it is what it is, guys. I don't know. Why did I even decide that today was a great day to revamp my battery box? Well, because I've been planning to for, I guess, over a year now, and things just didn't work out. And it ain't that they didn't work out, it's just that, hell, I didn't do it. I mean, I could have, I just didn't. So, yeah, anyway. All right, I'm going to get this bolted down. We're going to see if my new battery, I'm going to call it the Amish battery, see if it fits. I mean, it fits in there. It's lower where I wanted it. Believe it or not, looking at this hose, the other one, like, pretty much rolled on the hose. I dropped her down quite a bit, guys, so she's in there. She fits good. This is my positive side over here, which that's how it was set up before. What am I gonna do with it? I don't even ask, but I know that these, like, alternator runs have to go there. They have to. So it'd be like one on this, one on that, and then coming from that side, one on each. Which that's actually perfect right there. Just bam-o, guys, bam-o. Look at that. Bam, that'll fit. And then these, you know, where the hell are you? Here. These guys, you know, they go to the back, and we're all good. Like, everything's good there. I did have this one little guy here. You know, he's got to come like from one of the fuse over to here or somewhere, you know, wherever he fits at. Yeah, there's a lot going on here that I don't even understand, but we're gonna make it work. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this belt on, and then I'm gonna start on this stuff. Alternator is in and hooked up, and you can see the pretty alternator down there. Not real good, but I mean, you can see it. You can kind of see it from there. New battery box is made. For those who don't understand, these two wires, this is one alternator, second alternator, going through that fuse to that run to the back. Same thing on this side. Top alternator, bottom alternator go into the same terminal. But to get power in the vehicle to the positive lug here, you gotta have a jumper, go into there, and then through the fuse to the back. And then I got fuses in the back. Believe it or not, this is, yeah, it's about as cluttered as it was before. Not even gonna lie to you. Now what I have to do is put my fuses back in here and test that alternator. And for that, I brought out my clamp and I unplugged my top alternator. I know it works. I mean, it did last time I checked it. So I got it, yeah. So I'm getting ready to put fuses in the back, start the Jeep up, clamp these two wires here. And if I have voltage, since that alternator is unhooked, that'll let me know my new alternator is working fine. So I'm gonna get clamping. I see we're idling at 72 amps. Give it a little rev. Like that one, you know. She's seeing how it jumped up. It ain't gonna put out a whole lot because there's not a load buttoned up. Charging. Wasn't a bad job to do. I mean, it took some time. I don't even know what time it is. But you know, time went back last night, so I'm gonna feel really odd and awkward anyway. I got all my fuse stuff buttoned back up in here. See, So that's all done. Yeah. Now, I know there's somebody out there that's automatically hating on my battery box that I just built. They're hating on it. And I understand, guys. I mean, some people want them pretty cheap acrylic that costs over $100 with lights in them. And that's fine. That's fine. If you drive, not at all. But, you know, if you daily drive your vehicle and it don't get trailered everywhere, then what I build is perfectly acceptable. Guarantee it's stronger. Gonna last longer. You know, I don't have to worry about anything cracking it because it's acrylic. I don't need lights in it. I mean, I ain't taking this whole thing to SEMA, you know. So it is what it is, guys. For me, it's a perfectly good battery box. The other one had been under the hood over 3 years, and it was built way worse than the one I just built. So, for those of you wondering how to build a battery delete box for under the hood, and it's not hard. You've seen my old one. There's just some strips of aluminum. Bolted some fuse holders on top of this one. The old one, I had fuse holders on there like that, and they broke. So I just drilled some holes and put really long bolts through from the bottom side. And, you know, I put an A and L fuse on there and just marked where the hose should be. And it worked fine, you know. But yeah, that's going to wrap up today. And oddly enough, I don't really have anything to do tomorrow. I'm literally waiting on amplifiers. So, you know, until I get amps in, I don't know, guys. I don't really have much to do. So, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I like watching the squirrels. I just put him some food out there, so he's chowing. So I'm down here at my old test spot. For the OGs on this channel, dump truck. Not today, it's Sunday. So, I've got a new winch thingy. Woohoo! And I put the same color shackle thingy on the back, but that's not why I'm here. Yay, it didn't fall off. But anyway, guys, what I'm doing down here is I can be loud here. And how the hell can I do? There we go. Got the clamp meter on here. Because clamping it at home, just idling, the battery, you know, was already at like 16. I wasn't going to get no amperage out of it. I needed to load the system down to get amperage. And I came down here. I had the wife watching. You know, I turned it up to demo volume. Me not touching the gas, just letting it idle. We got over 500 amps. What was it, 580?
Yeah, 584.
580 some amps. So, God, that's at idle. You know, like under 1,000, 700 RPM maybe. That's both alternators combined, obviously, but got a 390 and a 320 down there. I mean, that's great for idle. So, we redid the test, and we had a malfunction here with the old clamp, because I revved it up, and she said it went up to like 1,200 at over 1,000 amp. The meter is only good to 600 amp. So revving it, she said that the numbers just kept like skyrocketing, and the decimal point went away, and it read like 1250 something or something or other. So that lets me know that I exceeded the max of the old clamp meter here. But I was worried because I clamped this thing at home, and the bottom alternator wasn't really reading that high. Nowhere near as high as the top when I clamped them individually. But, you know, that's at idle with no load on it. I had to get a load. That's why I had to get them amplifiers, like, beefed up in the back on subwoofer. Man, it's... You know, I come down here, I played a song, demo volume, and I got the numbers that I actually wanted to see. But almost 600 amps at idle, I'll take that all day. You know, that's perfect demo. Because my voltage was staying really, like, rock solid. I'm down on 2 amplifiers, but that's still great voltage. Now, what I'm going to tell the new guys here. A lot of you guys are OG, and I appreciate y'all watching my videos, the OG guys. I appreciate y'all. Because your support helps. But new guys in the car radio world or just automotive world in general that might be watching this, there's a clamp. And it's a KAIWEETS brand, 600 amp max, DC only, it don't do AC. And you can tell that it's like AC is just a squiggly line. DC is a squiggly line and a straight line or a dotted line. But anyway, that ain't what matters. You can also use this as a multimeter. It's not a great multimeter by any means, but it'll get the job done. It comes to little things plug in the bottom. But the reason for having this is this thing has got me out of a lot of jams testing alternators. One, you just clamp this around the wires, how you seen me do, with the vehicle running, and you put it on 600 amp, and it's going to tell you how many amps you're putting out. The multimeter function, and it's great also. But I've used this thing a lot, and this is like a $40, $50 tool off of Amazon, guys. Like I said, it ain't no Klein, or what's the really high, there's one brand out there that's so high that it, like, makes multimeters and everything. Fluke. That's so expensive I couldn't even hardly pronounce it. I'd love to have a Fluke, guys. I ain't even gonna lie, like a Fluke multimeter. What, babe?
I can't afford to say the word.
Yeah, my wives are like, I can't even afford to say the word. But honestly, you know, for a cheap clamp, this thing, it's golden. That's the whole point that I'm trying to make about this. It is golden. I've used it for everything, and the 40 or 50 bucks that it cost me, I mean, it's already paid for itself. It's how I determined my last alternator was bad, you know, by just clamping the wires, you know. A lot of times I do testing one alternator at a time. And when I did that today, I realized that my top alternator was charging higher than my bottom. But my voltage regulator in the back, it has a sense wire on it that needs to go to an alternator stud. And I put it on the top alternator stud because it was easier to get to. I believe that is why that it'll show the top alternator charging higher. But pulling through these cables, when you get a load on it, both alternators kick butt. And that's all I got. I just wanted to tell you know, the new guys on here, how important this is, or OG guys that don't have one. If you do audio and you run more than one alternator, I mean, it's great. You know, I've used that thing on single alternator systems before to determine whether or not an alternator is bad. So, like the wife's Edge. That thing just like stopped charging one day, and I threw the clamp on there, and sure enough, there was no amperage coming out of the alternator power wire. I removed one diode, and we started the car back up, and sure enough, it started charging. So that's how I determined it. But anyway, guys, I'm going to play with this thing a little bit more, and then I'm calling it quits for today. I have a job I need to do, but god dang, I don't even want to get into it. Yeah. I mean, I have the E-sockets, 1/4-inch drive, extensions to get down in there, tighten that up. I got the Loctite.
It's a pain in the ass, though.
I hate tearing steering columns apart, guys. I have the tool, like the compressor tool, to compress that spring in there. I mean, I got everything I need to get in there. I just don't want to do it. I might do it tomorrow, though. But anyway, peace, guys. Guys, oh, I'm dreading this. Monday morning, I got to work tomorrow, and this is what we're going to try to fix. It got side to side, that up and down though. Look at that. Whoop-a, 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 whoop-a. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm going to dig into this, guys. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. We're kicking butt already, guys. Well, not really. We got the steering wheel and adapter off. And this part here, it sucks. There's a little snap ring in here that you got to get out. But this will give you an idea how floppy the column is. I mean, it's bad. It sucks driving because you got all this. So I knew that it was time to fix it, so that's what I'm gonna try to do. So I made it this far. I got one of my pins out. Looks like, nah, we didn't really do no damage. But how I get the pin out is I got an 8/32 screw that I screw in it. Y'all gonna laugh, but you take this. Ah, there we go. It's hard to film and do this with one hand. But yeah, just kind of tighten that nut down and you can, uh-oh. Yeah, it didn't work that great on this side. Okay, so this pin here is gonna be a pain in the butt, guys. Yeah, cause it just ripped the threads up on that. Like I said, they make a tool for it. I don't have one. So I'm having to improvise. But hey, one of them came out so far. Figure if we double nut it this time, it might hold. The problem is we're not pulling straight out. That's the issue. Is we ain't got a nice straight pull on it. Maybe if I put, oh, man, that ain't gonna work great, is it? See, the other side, I had that bad boy like, come on, get down there further. Try to put my, it's moving, fellers. And see, that right there, that's how you pull them pesky pins out of these General Motors style steering columns. What'd I do with the other pin?
I don't know.
Huh. I don't know if I threw it in the floor. No, it's laying down in there. Okay, so this is the point you want to get to. Let me see here. Let me feel. If you look down that hole right there, you can't really see it. But anyway, the screws I got to get to that make all this sloppy, they're down underneath this. So that's what I'm trying to fight to get to. I mean, it's been really easy to take apart so far, except for the pins that go like right here and right here. And you see how I got them out with some good old 8/32 screws. I just bought a pack that came with nuts. So supposedly I'm able to pull it. You gotta like, I don't know. From the videos I watch, yeah, it's coming up. But I'll be back. I gotta try to get this off to get to them screws. So what I figured out, to get it off, I had to put the tilt thing in and tilt it all the way toward me. And you can see there's fingers right here in the top. And apparently stuff in here releases and they hook on these two little pins. But these are the screws that we're after. Them E-head screws. Those are what, see, this whole piece here is moving and you can see the screws like right there. Watch that screw jiggle. And part of it is from the base, obviously. And you know, a lot of it's not. These old cars, they just do this in general. So yeah, I got it to a good point. Right now I'm gonna climb my butt out of here because I've been working on this thing for about 40 minutes. Only took me about 40 minutes to get it this far. But what I fear is that it's gonna take me a couple hours to get back together. Once I get this piece on, I will be golden. But the problem is gonna be getting this piece back on there. And if I can, when I do that, I'll be golden to put everything else back together. If I can remember how it goes. So I got this piece back on. I'm not pinned yet, but I'm gonna show you guys the trouble of doing this. Which one, you gotta pull this all the way back to get this up here locked. And this slide right here, and these grooves and teeth on this, which there's a spring that runs across here that holds your like wheel lock and everything. But the problem is, when you put it together, as soon as you get it clamped on, don't do anything until you do this. Make sure that your ignition works. That's first and foremost, guys. But you know, the ignition's out, so there's a little tab there you can grab with pliers. But definitely, as soon as you get this clamp back on, make sure your ignition works, because there's a 99% chance that you got this little slide here that controls everything, that it's not connected down in here. And after we got off the video last time, I just popped this thing on. I'm like, man, that was super easy. Like, why does everybody make this out to be a big deal? 25 tries later, I got it, because when I got it clamped on, I'm like, there's something I'm supposed to do. Oh yeah, I need to check and make sure that the ignition worked. No, hell no, the ignition didn't work. But I do got the bolts tight. That was easy. Like I said before, they're an E-socket. You can get the 3 of them, like the 2 top and the 1 down over here. The one right under here, you can't get to. I mean, you can go in through this big hole. But they all have red Loctite on them, which is the permanent. And now, yeah, I just got to try to get this little thing back in here. Yeah, look at that spring, guys. That is like wild as hell. But it wraps around this, goes across that, and bolts like down here somehow. So, yeah, it goes all up in there just like that. And that's what puts tension on the steering wheel locking crap. If I can get this back in, I'd say it's gonna be like pretty much downhill. And everything's so greasy in here, I'm not gonna lie. Like, look at this. I have parts in the floorboard over here that are greasy, that are all wrapped up from doing this, because, you know, that's 1994 grease. I'm sure nobody's been this deep in this steering column since 1994. Right here, look at all the grease on my tools. But in case people are wondering, it's an E8. It's an E8 socket, and if you wonder what an E socket is, kind of, yeah, it's like a star head. You know, I got that bad boy right off Amazon. And I know, there's supposed to be a car audio channel. They filmed the door so it has something car audio related. There we go. All right. I know it's supposed to be an audio channel. And I'm really sure, because this steering column was tight in this Jeep, that the base helped that. Now, they do that on their own, but the screws were almost all out. So, like I said, you know, if you're a base head, you got an OG body, Jeep Cherokee or something, you know, like I'd say 95 or older.
Blazer.
Huh?
S10 Blazer.
Yeah, the Blazer's got the same steering column as this in it. This is something that you're gonna need to know to do. Do I think anybody can jump in and do this? Yeah, if you got a lot of time on your hands. I'm pretty mechanically inclined, and it wasn't super easy to do. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna try to get this back. So I got my pins back in. You seen how I pulled them out with the old claw hammer and an 8/32 screw with a couple nuts on it? They're easy to go back in. They just, like, you hammer them in. And I hate to do this because I only got one hand, but we're gonna. Oh, here we go. See, the column tilted up. I gotta pull it. I hold. All right, there you go. And we're all the way down. We're up, but no more jiggle. Like this jiggle you see here, that's that ring. It's a race for the bearing, and I had it all the way down, but it popped. There we go. Now it's all the way down. See, that's very little slop there. And once I get like, you know, this spring down on just all the parts in it, it'll get tighter. But right now, yeah, I got it back together. When you take this apart, I will tell you guys, see this little thing right here? It looks like you might be able to fit a 1/4 inch drive extension in it. You can't. What I used, it's gone. Anyway, shit. I'm losing tools, guys. Not for real, no, I did lose it.
He's in 2 seats losing tools.
Yeah, I'm inside of a Jeep losing tools. Anyway, I stuck a little flathead screwdriver in there. You got to push in and turn it counterclockwise. Because see these 2 nubs here? The 2 little nubs. This piece has a big spring under it, and it is the spring that controls the tension on your tilt. So yeah, you just put a flathead right here.
That nasty spring right there.
Yeah, but just put a flathead in there, push in and turn, and the whole thing will slide out. So all in all, it wasn't a terrible job. It's a pain getting that back on, but I'm gonna try to find parts and things that I've lost and put this back together. Okay, so we ran into a snag. You see right here? That is you can see me pushing it in the high beam. That's what does high beam. And the snag I ran into, because I had all this hanging down, that rod that runs down to the high beam switch came out of the high beam switch and was sitting on the side of it, which made this and this outer sleeve a pain in the butt to get on. And when I got it on, at that moment I realized the high beam indicator was stuck on, which means the headlights were stuck on high beam. They were actually on and working. And I had to get Deb under the dash to pop that metal rod back down in the high beam switch. And at that point, it made life a whole lot better because it's working properly again. And this is all my wiring for different things. If you've never been in one of these, this wiring harness here is to that. That is nothing more than your wiper switch. If you have a car, it could have the same stem, which you pull it back for high beam. But a lot of cars, oh, and it's a blinker, but this wiring harness only goes to the windshield wipers. A lot of cars have cruise control on here, so you'd have additional wiring in there. But all in all, this is a pretty simplistic one. I keep dropping stuff today. When you tear in here, if you get tired of that annoying buzzer, when your door is open and your keys in the ignition, this little thing right here, yeah, you just pull that out and that will leave the chat, guys. Because that's all that is the buzzer. So we're really making some good headway at getting all this back together. Or I would say we are, because from here on out, it's pretty simple. And see that there, remember I say earlier, I had a race in here that takes slop out. This little sleeve here pushes that race down, and you got a spring right here that rides on top of that, and pretty much all my slop is gone. And man, that is so nice. Like, look, no wiggle wiggle. It is a greasy job. And this is going to be another one of the videos that's kind of boring. I'm sorry, guys. I try to do y'all better.
But the more you know.
I try. I try to help people with everything, man. A lot of guys don't know, you know, how to do crap like this. Like, so I just try to help everybody. What the heck? There we go. And there we go. Look, that's all back together. Now this is your blinker switch. And there's a rod that goes from there that screws in here. A little metal tab pushes this over. But I'll be back after I get further into this, guys. And yeah, there it is. It's still got the key in it. Yeah, we got to put this in, so I'll be back. Like I was saying, that's the blinker switch. 3 screws, like one here, one there, and one under here. This is the little arm I was telling you about that controls it, but I put this in not long ago. So really, guys, I'm just looking here at what all I have to put back on. Like, you know, that's my steering wheel adapter. But judging from everything down there, I just lost my magnet. I do have to put my hazard switch back in, and then we got to put this thing up here that I hate. Okay, hazard switch is in. It's time to put this thing back on. And this literally just covers everything. And this is your steering wheel lock here. I know it's getting boring, but remember I told you the importance of checking your key. And that's the buzzer which I was saying about. But see how this lock here, when I turn the key forward, it drops. Yeah, that was a pain in the butt. But anyway, yeah, this has these notches in the back that goes in, and that actually locks your steering wheel. And let's see, if I'm trying to remember correctly, this goes on, you know, it goes on first, I think. Yep, because you got that groove there, and that's your little horn thing. So this goes on, and then that goes on. And I gotta have that big funky tool. Half of my viewers are already like, man, this shit's getting boring, I'm out. But some people don't know. Oh, hold on, I need to check something. You got like the splines. There's one really wide one, and it's right here. It's on my side. They ain't gonna go to see. I'm just checking because in this thing, we kind of have to line this up where, yeah, where the splines will fit. See, because there's only certain directions that this will press down. You can stop. Okay, there we go. I say you can stop filming or keep filming, and she's just like, okay.
Whatever, save your file for later.
I almost forgot to put this damn snap thing back on. And that's the ring. It's a little snap ring. It holds all this together. And that's where this tool comes in valuable. And you got to have it to do this. I believe AutoZone wrenched these tools. I went ahead and bought it. It was like maybe 20 bucks, if that. I think it was under 20. But that would have been a couple of years ago, and you know how inflation is, so it's probably 60 bucks now. I could be one of them guys that tells everybody, like, get out and vote tomorrow. I'm not going to do that. If y'all want to vote, vote. If you don't want to vote, don't vote. Honey, I lost that screwdriver. That flathead. So grab me a smaller one.
That's all you got for small.
Ain't that damn small.
Nope, it's big.
It's okay. This thing's a lot easier to put on than it is to take off. And we got that snapped in place. And guys, from here on out, this is literally nothing more than say you were putting an aftermarket steering wheel, because this here is pretty much what you see when you take the steering wheel off your car. So we'll be back when I have a steering wheel back on here. I'm back. It's back together, and no movement at all. The steering wheel is all back together, and I did have this in there, and you can see a difference here in height. It took some modification to get this really short one on, but this steering wheel has some dish and my other one didn't, and I didn't want it so far back. But the center nut that goes on that shaft that would ride center of here, I had to pull the nut off, use my flapper disc on my grinder and grind it down quite a bit to basically where the center of the shaft, when it's screwed on and tight, was flush with it. No big deal. I really didn't think it was going to fit, but it fit like a champ. No horn button. Yeah, we know all about that. But anyway, I've checked the key several times. Like right now, the steering wheel is locked. Put it in. The steering wheel is unlocked. So all is good there. And all in all, guys, you know, that wasn't a terrible job to do. I honestly thought I was going to get into it, trying to put it back together, and I was going to wind up at the old pick and pull, getting a whole nother steering column for this Jeep. And, you know, at the end of the day, after digging in there, red Loctite, tightening everything up, and I found the screwdriver that I lost. Yeah. You know, after all that, did I run into some issues? My God, yeah. You know, I told y'all about them. There were some little issues along the way. On difficulty, I'm going to say it's a 7 or 8. And it's only getting that back together with your ignition sliding stuff to where it works. That's the main problem. So 7 or 8, it depends how mechanically inclined you are. I'd probably say it took me 2 hours overall to get it apart and back together. Would you say 2 hours, babe?
Yeah.
2.5 maybe? I don't know. But, and of course I use impacts and power tools for everything. So
A lot of that stuff gets hand tightened and loose.
yeah, so that does save me some time. But not a bad job to do. It definitely is going to be a whole lot better driving it. I can't wait to drive it now, because it was really hard to control it with that steering wheel slop. And I had gotten used to it, which is sad. So now it's going to be like driving a different vehicle, but we're all back together and everything's working. So I'm proud. I really thought it was going to be way tougher than what it was. I didn't think I'd be able to get it back together, and bam, you know, it's back together. It's tight. I love it. Shorter adapter on it, which is a biggie for me. So anyway, that's all I got, guys. I don't know if I'm going to do anything else on this video before I do my editing and upload tonight, but we'll see. But in case I don't, guys, peace out, and as always, bass on.